Jen Geddes with Keller Williams Realty. Today I'm going to talk a bit about mortgages, and I'm lucky to have Jason Fallon with Movement Mortgage joining us.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Jason. Thanks so much for joining us. So, Jason, would you spend a little bit of time telling us what the mortgage pre-approval process looks like?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jen. A lot of people think that's going to be a scary part of the process, and it actually delays people from moving forward with buying a house, but it really isn't that scary. The process really just starts with filling out an application online. Typically, it takes about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And then ultimately it's followed up with a phone call where we review your options and the qualifiers on the application itself. And then finally, when the numbers have been worked out, you simply forward in some income and asset documentation to finalize the pre-approval. And that's pretty much it. It could happen in as little as maybe, 25 to 30 minutes of your time.
Okay, that's awesome. Sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
So, does the pre-approval usually expire? And if so, when does that expire?
So a pre-approval is typically good for 90 days. So it starts from the day that you actually get pre-approved, and then it'll expire at that 90-day mark. However, it's actually really, really easy to re-up the pre-approval for another 90 days. We would simply get an updated pay stub and maybe an updated bank statement, and then you'd be good again for another 90 days. We'd have to pull your credit again too. But it's really, really a simple process to re-up that pre-approval.
Okay, sounds easy. Does the pre-approval cost anything to the buyers?
Actually, no. The pre-approval is the process is free to the client. It just takes a little bit of your time. That's about it.
Okay, awesome. And do you need to run credit for a pre-approval? And if so, can you explain a little bit about the impact on credit scores? Because that comes up as a topic that a lot of people are worried about.
Yeah, that's the main thing that people are concerned with when getting pre-approved. And yes, we do. We have to do something called a hard credit pull, basically. So we're looking at all of your individual creditors and looking at your credit scores and assigning a credit grade. To whether or not it affects your score really depends. It depends on if a lot of other creditors, whether it's car loan companies or other lenders or other creditors have been looking at your credit recently. But if we're the only one that's been looking at your credit in the last few months, you won't see really any change to your score at all.
Okay, that sounds easy. And then talking about how much to save for a home purchase, what's the typical amount that a buyer needs to save for their down payment?
So it really depends on the product, and the different down payments basically depend on what kind of product you choose, right? So VA, the Veterans Administration, has their own loan for veterans. That's actually zero out of pocket down. And then for FHA and conventional, that could be as little as 3.5% or 3% down.
Okay. And then is the down payment the only cost that buyers need to worry about with the purchase?
No, actually. So besides the down payment, there's the actual closing costs that are associated with that. That's fees to pay to the state for taxes. That's title fees. Those fees end up being somewhere between 4 to 6% of the purchase price. It's kind of like rough math for you to figure out in your mind how much it'll be out of pocket. So the down payment would be 3.5% plus the 4 to 6%. And you can kind of figure that out in your mind what you think it'll be.
Okay. So generally speaking, if we're talking about a non-VA loan, we need about 7 to 10% of the purchase price for your total down payment and closing costs.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Right. Okay, awesome. And then when a buyer's ready to start the pre-approval process, how would they go about doing that?
It's pretty easy. My email address is jason.fallon@movementmortgage.com, or you can give me a call at 215-327-2217 or text me, and I could send over a link to have you start to fill out the application. That's it.
Okay, that's awesome. And we'll definitely include your contact info in this article so people can reach out to you easily. So thank you so much for joining us, Jason. We appreciate it. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.